What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you to the September 2024 edition of Let's Talk, and welcome back to your regularly scheduled monthly updates, everybody. It is good to be back. So good to be back. Listen, as much as I think vacations are important, and as much as I think everybody should take them, I am so glad to be back into my routine and back to working on videos and things of that nature. I'm the kind of person where, honestly, I feel like because I took almost 2.5 weeks away and traveled across the country to do it, and that's too much for me, man. Like, I've never done that before, and I have decided that that is too much for me. I am definitely the kind of person where a week is more than enough for me to sort of rejuvenate, recuperate, and all that, and get back to doing things at the same pace that I would normally do it. Again, not saying that vacations aren't important and that I should trick myself into like, oh, I don't ever need to take time off. Of course I need to take time off. I just think that is too much. 1 week at a time, extended weekends, things like that. That's my kind of time off. And as much fun as I did have being away for, how many, was it 16 days? I believe so. Either way, I'm so glad to be back. Okay, today's Let's Talk is going to be kind of a rapid fire round. We have a lot to talk about because obviously we skipped a Let's Talk last month. But I also want to say that at the exact same time that this is going up, there should also be a schedule post, which I also didn't do last month. So you can kind of cross-reference everything that I'm going to talk about in this video with that schedule post if you want additional information. I'm just going to go into more detail here. But there is a lot that I want to discuss today, and I want to get through it as quickly as possible. In fact, I have 5 pages of notes. So let's just begin right off the bat. So since my return, which was about in the middle of August, I have been working on several different things. And by just, I mean literally just a few minutes ago, I recorded the finale of this Let's Play right before I started recording this. You probably already know what it is if you look at the schedule post, but I'll actually talk about it in more detail later in this video because I still don't think I've spoiled it yet. But yeah, recorded the finale to that. Just haven't done the post-game stuff yet, but I'm going to save that for much later because Pokemon Let's Plays already obviously go a super long way. They're very long games, and I'm not really too worried about the post-game. It won't be for quite some time. I've also finished all of Banjo-Kazooie, which I had finished recording that before I left on my trip, but I didn't have everything edited, scheduled, and whatnot. That's all done now. That Let's Play is going to be going until December. December 14th is the date of the finale. So 1 episode a week every Saturday for a while. So you guys got it for at least a few months before it comes to an end. But obviously those episodes being on weekends are going to be a little bit meatier than your standard length episodes. It's going to be more analogous in time to like the Animal Crossing New Horizons episodes, for instance. Although maybe not quite that long, but you get the picture. Definitely longer than like a Destiny episode usually is, for instance. Speaking of Destiny, I have also finished scheduling everything in regards to that Let's Play before it goes on break. And that is going to happen in October. So all of the remainder of the Beyond Light stuff and Beyond Light adjacent things, the very last episode until Destiny goes on a bit of a pause is October 20th. So if you're sick of Destiny, just wait till then. Something's going to be replacing it for at least a little while, probably through to next year before we jump right back in with the start of the Witch Queen expansion. I have also just started work on that Let's Play that is going to be replacing Destiny, which I think I've already talked about, and that is, of course, Eco. This has been a Let's Play that has been a long time coming, and we'll also talk about that one a little bit more later as to how I'm going to be approaching that one. But first things first, let's talk about Pokemon, okay? So, this month, September 19th, is the beginning of Let's Play Pokemon Platinum, a series that I have been incredibly nervous to start for a very long time. In fact, it's the entire reason why I did a Pokemon Legends Arceus playthrough back in the day. It's not because I don't like Pokemon Gen 4. It's because I am terrified of doing a Gen 4 Pokemon. This is where the wheels are going to start to fall off, and this is exactly why, despite the name of the channel, I have never been a Pokemon-centric channel. Because guess what? I'm not that big of a Pokemon fan. I love Pokemon. I really do. But I am not the dedicated, hyper-competitive fanatic that a lot of other Pokemon channels are. Because, really, my knowledge extends to Gens 1, 2, 3, and 5, and that's about it. Maybe I would also say Gen 8, but that's a little bit more of a complicated one. We'll talk about that someday, I'm sure. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I am not this big aficionado when it comes to the rest of the other generations because I either have only played through them a handful of times, and by a handful I mean like once or twice, or I just straight up didn't grow up with them, like with Gen 4, for instance. So really, really nervous to start this Let's Play because it's going to be kind of indicative of how the rest of my Pokemon Let's Plays are going to go, where I'm either going to be blind, semi-blind, or I just know or remember nothing about it from years and years and years later. Now, Platinum is a little bit better because I have played through it about 3 times in my life, but for some reason with that game, nothing really sticks, if that makes sense. It's not that it's not a good game. I love it. I really, really do. It's just, I don't know. It's because I don't have these memories of it, these rose-tinted glasses, and, you know, the memories of playing it for hours and hours and hours after school, like I did with something like Gen 3 or Gen 1. It just doesn't hook me in the same way. At least it doesn't hook my memory as much as other Pokemon games do. So I'm still kind of wading through it semi-blind when playing through it. But I hope that you guys will like the Let's Play nonetheless and be nice and not too harsh and not think, wow, you're a freaking idiot who doesn't know anything about Gen 4. I did my best, I tried, but I also wanted to make this a bit more of a casual playthrough. I didn't want to go through it with the same amount of effort and gusto that I did with something like Pokemon Black and White. So there are no Pokemon bios this time. I mean, I'll still talk about new Pokemon as we go into new routes, but it's going to just be more off-the-cuff stuff. And there's also not going to be nearly as many nice graphics and a lot more detail put into things. There's not going to be an end slate and whatnot. This is just going to be a very chill playthrough where I'm also probably not going to tackle a lot of endgame stuff as well. I'm not going to go in-depth into contests and things of that nature. We're just playing through the game and then experiencing some of the post-game, and that's about it. That said, this is still going to be a very long Pokemon Let's Play because it's a Pokemon game, and also, after playing through it, I feel like Platinum is up there as one of the longest main stories of any Pokemon game. My goodness, it is a beefy one. But I really hope you guys will like it. I really do. This is going to just be the holdover until we get to Pokemon Black and White 2. The whole reason I've been waiting on Pokemon Black and White 2 is because I really wanted to start that Let's Play as close as I could year to date, 2 years after the start of Pokemon Black and White 1, because, well, that makes sense for canon purposes, but also because I wanted to give a sizable break between the two. And with Black and White 2, that is going to begin the alternating pattern upon which I'm going to tackle Pokemon playthroughs from here on out. Because after Black and White 2, it's going to go like this. Pokemon spin-off game, Pokemon main series game, Pokemon spin-off game, Pokemon main series game, and so on and so forth for the rest of eternity. As an example, I'm not saying this is exactly the order it's going to be, but as an example, let's say after Black and White 2, I want to then jump into the Pokemon Colosseum series. Then I would do Colosseum, then I would jump into Pokemon X and Y, then I would do XD Gale of Darkness, then I would jump into, I don't know, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, Sun and Moon, or I don't know, maybe even Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Whatever it is in the next, as the next one in order, it's going to be main game, spin-off game, main game, spin-off game, from here on out. No more back-to-back main games, because I know that that can get not only exhausting for you guys, but it gets exhausting for me, because as much as I love Pokemon, yeah, playing through 2 Pokemon games back-to-back is a big ask. I'll say that much. A really big ask. So that covers Pokemon. Let's move on to Destiny real quick. Okay. Since bringing back this Let's Play, Destiny is already 89 episodes deep if we include all of the videos I have scheduled into October. Nearly 100 episodes since bringing it back, and we still have a very long way to go. Later this year, probably at the start of next year, is when I am planning on not only recording all of the stuff for the final shape, but possibly episodic content. I don't know if I'm even going to end up doing that stuff yet. I'm still on the fence about it right now. Spoiler alert, I have not even touched Destiny since 2 weeks after the launch of the final shape, because that game has just completely fallen off my radar. I'm totally out of the loop at this point. It's not that I didn't like the expansion, but I definitely wasn't as high on it as a lot of other people, and I'm just kind of floundering, wondering where it's going next, because Bungie is a complete shit show right now, and I have no faith this series is going to even continue. If the wheels fall off between now and January, Final Shape is probably going to be the end of the Let's Play. if they somehow reinvigorate a lot of people's excitement and they actually have a plan and they maybe, I don't know, make Destiny 3, then we'll see about jumping into the episodic content. But right now, I don't want to touch any of that stuff. I will only focus on Final Shape, and then I am going to bulk edit the entire Let's Play, and you guys can probably expect episodes for the next, 3 years, because, oh my gosh, we still have so much to go over. 89 episodes isn't even beginning to cut it. I mean, we have so much left to do. I'm actually surprised that it's been that few since bringing back the Let's Play. We have a lot more. I'm talking probably close to 150 left to go through with the Witch Queen and Lightfall expansions alone, because we're tackling all of the seasonal content in full in those expansions. So yeah, it's a freaking big one. But yeah, goes on break on October 20th, and then that will be replaced by Eco. Let's talk Eco. Eco is going to be a bit of a different Let's Play than what I have been working on for these past few years. Earlier on in the channel's life cycle, I was a big fan of tackling certain types of indie games, especially very artistic indie games. Eco is obviously no exception to this, but Eco is a bit of a different flavor because it's kind of the grandfather of the artistic indie genre, but also because it is the last game in the Eco trilogy that I have yet to cover. Funny enough, the very first game is the only one I haven't looked at. I've gone through Shadow of the Colossus more times than anyone can count. I did a Last Guardian playthrough that was one of my most heavily prepared for and researched Let's Plays that I've ever done, and now all that remains is Eco. But with Let's Plays like that, I don't generally try to take the same approach that I do with other Let's Plays, where I try to be informative and on top of things as much as I can. Instead, it's more about an atmosphere and a tone. It's more about making people, I guess trying to give whoever watches it a sense of what the game is trying to evoke. And Eco is an incredibly quiet game. Incredibly quiet, incredibly thought-provoking, moving. There's a lot to just kind of marinate in as you play through it, which is this. I mean, that's how all Team Eco games are, but I think Eco in particular is the most understated out of the entire trilogy. It's also the one that I am the least familiar with, so I'm going to be taking, like I said, a very different approach this time. I plan on doing post-commentary for this Let's Play, not live commentary like I've done with really every other Let's Play on the channel. That's mainly because I want to make sure that I edit it together in a way that looks as seamless as possible while not letting my commentary affect that too much, and also just because I want everything to flow naturally a bit more. I'm not going to be scripting anything, of course not. That's just way too much work and effort, and I mean, for very little gain. There's no point in trying to script things, especially because scripting usually helps me make things more concise, and that kind of commentary does not work for a Let's Play. That is much more for like hyper-edited videos and things of that nature. So yeah, there would be no point in doing that, but it will be probably post-commentated as opposed to live commentary. And I'm probably going to do 2 playthroughs of this game so that I can get my bearings as down as pat as possible before we actually go through it. After Eco is done, however, then we are probably going to jump back into Destiny 2. That said, I do have one other game in mind for another small in-betweener, maybe. That is something I'm going to be deciding on over the next couple of months. I don't know 100% yet. I think a lot of that is contingent on how Destiny ends up looking, the future of Destiny and whatnot, and when I'm going to actually start tackling the final shape and recording all that stuff. But for right now, expect Destiny to take a break, then to jump to Eco, and then go back to Destiny 2. Next up, let's talk Banjo-Kazooie. Okay, so this one kind of came out of nowhere for some people, I'm sure. I did announce that I was working on it a long time ago, but it just kind of started mainly because there was no schedule post in August for you guys to be prepared for. But yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is happening now. I did say it was going to be the follow-up to Mario Party 3, and Mario Party 3 kind of came to an end in the middle of the month. So we're here with Banjo-Kazooie, and this is a 100% all Jiggies and Honeycombs playthrough. I'm going after absolutely everything, all the notes, everything in the game, which is something I've never done before because this is only my second ever playthrough of Banjo-Kazooie. The first one is actually a live stream VOD that you can still go watch on this channel as of right now. However, when this Let's Play is done in December, once it's concluded, I will be making that entire VOD playthrough private. So if you want to go watch it, go ahead. Just a fair warning, it's not very good, but it is there. but this is kind of the first in my initiative to eventually replace all of my live stream VODs, so Banjo-Kazooie, Silent Hill 2, and Super Mario Galaxy 2 with proper Let's Plays. And so yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is going to be 100%. Hopefully you guys like it as it is. I played through the Nintendo 64 Switch Online version, actually, as opposed to the Xbox version, which is what I did for Banjo-Tooie. Obviously, I didn't go into any of the stop and swap optional stuff, but as far as the actual core collectibles, I got them all. Every single one of them. And yeah, please be nice because I am not super great at the game. I did my best. I really did. I knew going into it that I was going to struggle in the last 2 worlds. And I did, a lot, although I did remember Click Clock Wood being the more difficult one, and Rusty Bucket Bay kind of didn't leave an impression on me. This time around, it was definitely the opposite. Rusty Bucket Bay was a lot more challenging and a lot more frustrating to go through, while Click Clock Wood was actually relatively painless, but yes, did absolutely take the longest to go through of any of the worlds. But I had a good time with it. I really did have a good time with this game. I love Banjo-Kazooie. It's very fun. I still don't like it as much as the sequel. I still maintain that Tooie is the better game, in my opinion, but I had a great time going through Kazooie, nonetheless. But yeah, so this is kind of the... I mean, like I said, I'm using this as kind of the beginning of going through and getting rid of all of my stream VODs. Later, in fact, I'm hoping next year to start on this. I do want to get around to doing Super Mario Galaxy 2, but if I'm going to do Super Mario Galaxy 2, I should probably give Super Mario Galaxy 1 another go, given that that is another very ancient Let's Play on this channel. In fact, if I am to go back and actually look at how long it's been since I did my Galaxy Let's Play... Oh yeah, that was a long time ago. Holy crap. Wow, it's older than this live stream of Galaxy 2 by quite a lot. 2012. Yeah, we are definitely going to give Super Mario Galaxy 1 another go and another run through, but I think I might do something a little bit different this time. I don't know. Maybe I'll just play through it as Luigi, Super Luigi Galaxy. You get the picture. But something to at least lead us into Super Mario Galaxy 2 before we actually tackle it. I probably won't be doing the Super Mario All-Stars version because I don't like that version very much. I would rather just play it on the OG Wii, so... we will see, but that is something that I am planning to do at some point next year, just for anyone's worried. As far as Silent Hill goes, though... that's a whole other beast that we'll have to tackle some other time, but I do plan, before this channel is ever done and dusted, to have at least gone through all of the first 4 Silent Hill games, 1, 2, 3, and 4 The Room, at some point. So keep that in mind. All right, let's talk about variety really quickly. So Bo Path of the Teal Lotus was the impromptu last-second change that I put into the August schedule. It wasn't intended... when I was going into the month. I had a different game scheduled, but kind of last second with the Humble Games closure and also just the fact that I felt like Bo Path of the Teal Lotus was getting the short end of the recognition stick. I just really wanted to give it just a little bit of a spotlight. And I know my videos aren't going to move the needle in any way, but still, I just felt super compelled to actually give it an honest try, and I'm very glad that I did. I actually ended up playing through it a lot more during my vacation. I didn't finish the game, but I went through it quite a ways, and I really love the game. I'm probably going to end up doing a Let's Play of it later down the road. But for right now, wonderful, wonderful game. Very glad that I actually took a look at it. But that, of course, leads us into this month's variety series, which is the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, which, like I said, was originally planned for last month. This is my, I don't want to say it's my very first playthrough of Oblivion, or very first look at Oblivion, but it might as well be. I think I played through the tutorial on the PS3 version back in the day, and then maybe made it like 30 minutes before I turned the game off. So really, it is like a blind playthrough through and through. Now, I say playthrough, it's still going to just be 3 videos, but it is a spotlight. It's a chance to go back and look at this game and see how it's held up, if at all, and hope you guys are going to like it. I have to confess that I actually haven't recorded these episodes yet, which is actually something I've been doing a lot with the Spotlights. I don't really record them until only a few days before the first episode goes live. But hey, since the first Friday of the month is on the 6th, that kind of gives me plenty of leeway to get that done. But I won't miss my dates. I should definitely have those episodes out. Unless I miraculously get sick the day after I record this. That would suck, but hopefully that won't happen. And then for the games I remember, we have Donkey Kong 64 coming this month. However, speaking of games I remember, I have gotten a lot of criticism and feedback about the title of that series, and with good reason. Look, guys, yes, it's not a great name. I will 100% concede to that. It's not. The only reason I called it that was because I kind of wanted to make sure that I was properly representing what those videos were about. It's not about retro games in general. It's not about games that everybody else remembers. These are games that are from my childhood, games that I grew up playing, but I'm not going to be giving the Let's Play treatment to. But I also understand that games I remember, or a game that I remember is, and then it's some really popular game, sounds a bit weird. I understand that. So instead, I have decided to do a little bit of rebranding, and if it lands, I will probably do retroactive rebranding to all of the other games in the series, which is basically just going to boil down to title changes and thumbnail changes. And that rebranding is going to be games from the Memory Vault. So every episode with that, we're going to say, from the Memory Vault, I pull Mario Tennis or Donkey Kong 64, like with this month, or Glover, or whatever have you. You get the picture. I have an interesting thumbnail idea for this, so I hope that it lands pretty well, and I hope that you guys like it. I hope it's a little bit of a better... I don't know. I just hope it's better branding. Branding is actually something I do want to talk about quite a bit, but I'm actually going to save that for next month's Let's Talk. Maybe. It's a lot of that's going to depend on whether or not I can get any traction in that regard, because I am really tight this month on quite a few things, so we'll see if that's possible, but I have some plans as far as branding across the entire channel is concerned going into next year, and I want to talk about those a little bit as well as some other things, but we'll go over all of that at the very end of this video, which is coming soon. But just a couple more things that I want to talk about are some of the far future things. So as far as like what we're expecting after the current Let's Plays and whatnot, I might as well go into at least a couple of those. I'm not going to spoil everything. The big one, obviously, is after Banjo-Kazooie, just because of the alternating nature of that time slot, or that upload slot, I guess. It's pretty obvious what's next. It's going to be Mario Party 4. I've been trying to do a Mario Party game, and then something else, and then a Mario Party game, and then something else, so on and so forth, just back and forth, and I'm going to continue with that. So after Banjo-Kazooie will be Mario Party 4, and then after Mario Party 4, I actually don't know yet, but I have a pretty good idea, but I won't spoil that here. I'm not even going to bother mentioning what the replacement for Animal Crossing New Horizons is, because that obviously has a very long way to go. And we're going to talk about New Horizons real quick before I'm done, too. You already know what the follow-up to Platinum is, and that is Pokemon Black and White 2. And the follow-up to Destiny really doesn't matter, because there is a possibility we will experience the heat death of the universe before that happens. But who's 100% certain on that? I know I'm not. Okay, real quick, one of the last things before we talk about the topics of next month's Let's Talk. Animal Crossing New Horizons. Right now, I'm just trying to finalize all of my current projects. So Pokemon Platinum, obviously, I need to get that edited. That's the first thing. And then I also need to prep Eco, get that all recorded and done, ready to go. I'm trying to basically put every single Let's Play in their place where I'm good to go for the rest of the year. I'm going to record a bunch more variety stuff, although not Spotlight-related things, because I still like to keep those as current as I possibly can. And just mostly want to give myself a lot of cushion, a lot of leeway, a lot of breathing room before I get back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. Just real quick, so you guys know what to expect, I've been, in my mind, seeing this entire Let's Play in 3 parts, okay? The first part, which is what we actually just finished, is the tutorial opening, getting to know Animal Crossing New Horizons phase, where we made it through Project KK. We're going through all the basic stuff. We're still kind of a little bit in that phase, but for the most part, it's just a lot of the introductory stuff, which is a lot, because Animal Crossing New Horizons has a lot going on. The second part is a part that I know I have been building up for several episodes up to that point, and that's when we start to dive into the more day-to-day, more menial things, a lot more of the later game stuff, as well as the Happy Home Paradise DLC. Once that starts, we're going to literally be alternating episodes in Happy Home Paradise and then back on my island. So it literally every other week is going to be a Happy Home Paradise episode, and the other weeks are just going to be more standard episodes as we continue to flesh out our island and whatnot. Once the entirety of the Happy Home Paradise DLC is complete, and we have unlocked everything that I deemed worth unlocking in that DLC, or at least saw it to its conclusion, then begins Part 3. And Part 3 is where suddenly time is going to be jumping and skipping a lot as we start to cover a lot of the major events that take place in Animal Crossing throughout the year. Mainly meaning things like holidays and some of the other Animal Crossing specific days that the game likes to throw at you, while also trying to 100% certain things like museum completion and whatnot. And this is going to mean that I am probably going to only be doing a few episodes per month as we go through the remainder of that year. So yeah, it's gonna change up a few times as we go through Animal Crossing, but I'm just kind of giving you guys a heads up as to what to expect. As of right now, as of this exact moment, when I left that Let's Play off back in April because I physically could not keep recording it anymore because it was draining me so much, I was about 2/3 of the way through Phase 2. And again, like I said, once everything is taken care of, once I have all of my ducks in a row, once I have everything in order, and I've got a lot of cushion and a lot of breathing room for the remainder of the year, that's when I'm going to go real hard back into Animal Crossing. I'm hoping around the middle or end of October, I can go like just gung-ho into Animal Crossing again and see it all the way through to completion. It's probably going to take me another month and a half, 2 months of recording just to do that. So yeah, that game's going to require a lot of soul focus, but that is about when I'm going to get back into it. I still have so many episodes pre-recorded, though, that you guys aren't even going to feel the effects of this for quite a few more months. Honestly, I'm thinking around like March or April, so don't even worry about it, but this is just me kind of giving you guys that heads up, especially because, wow, Animal Crossing is by far my most popular series on the channel right now, and I was not expecting that. I do not profess to be an aficionado of this game, but I am very happy that people are watching and enjoying it. I really wanted to give this sort of, I guess, just chill, relaxing vibe to the game, at least as much as I can give, while still trying to explain as much as I could. But hey, I've had people come into the comments and correct me about certain things, which I am totally okay with, because like I said, I've never professed to be an Animal Crossing aficionado. I just really like the game, darn it. Okay, that's going to be it from me this month. I feel like that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. Next month is going to be a very different flavor. We're probably not going to talk about most of this stuff unless anything changes drastically. Next month, I specifically want to focus on channel branding, which I said I might go into, again, depending on how things pan out. We will see. And the other thing I want to talk about a lot is the year-end stuff, because usually every single year I do a let's look back on the previous year in games and what was my favorite game of the year. And last year I did something different to that, where I went over all of the games that I covered throughout the year and just gave brief thoughts, like little mini reviews on every single one of them. I'm not going to be doing anything like that this year. This is going to be a very different experience. In fact, this is going to be sort of a callback to something I've done a very long time ago. We'll go more in-depth on that in next month's Let's Talk, but I still am finalizing some details on that as well, and we'll definitely have a lot more information and be a lot more ready to share that information in a month's time. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this Let's Talk very, very much. I hope you guys enjoy Pokemon Platinum, and I will see you all in the next one.